Blessings, everyone. Blessings. Today I will be reading from Ezekiel 36. I will be reading verses 24 through 30 today. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries, and I will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I have gave to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your God. I will also save you from all of your uncleanness, and I will call for you the corn, and I will increase it and lay no famine upon you. And I will multiply the fruit of the tree and the increase of the field, that ye shall receive no more reproach of famine among the heathen. So today I just want to say that we all know that in order to get to where God is taking us today, that we all must suffer. But understand that in the midst of that suffering, God is getting ready to bring us out. Understand that we all must have went through the sufferings in order to get to where God is going to take us. People want to serve God, but at the same time, they don't understand that in order to serve God, that you must go through the sufferings. Nowhere in the Bible did I see that God blessed someone with something, or God took something from someone or added on to someone until they went through their sufferings. Even when you begin to read in the book of Job, you see that Job went through a great amount of sufferings before God blessed him. So we must understand today that in order to get to where God is taking us, we must also go through the storm. We must also go through the rain, and understand that even in the midst of our storms, God is going to still be there with us. He never said once that anything was going to be easy. He never said once that, that it was going to be a cakewalk walking this walk with him. He never said once that it would be easy. But understand this, that God began to say he is going to do a new thing. He said, you let my people know that in this hour, I'm going to do a new thing. He said, you let them know that their suffering was not in vain. He said, you go before my people and let them know that in this hour, when I begin to pour down my spirit upon all flesh, he said, you let them know that their sufferings is getting ready to be paid in full. The sufferings that they went through is not in vain. He said, you let them know that I had to allow the sufferings in order to get them to where I am taking them today. He said, because if he would have given it to us without the sufferings, when he would have blessed us, we would have not appreciated the blessings that he's sending our way. But because we went through the sufferings, and because we went through our valleys, and because we have cried out to him, and because we have obeyed him, even in the midst of our sufferings and our going through, God says, you let my people know that it's new beginnings. He said, I'm pouring out my spirit. There will be new walks, new talks, new anointing, fresh oil. He said, you let them know that today that the water has been troubled on their behalf. He said, you let my people know that as of today, I'm going to do a new thing. I am going to create within them a clean heart. He said, you let them know that I have seen the sufferings amongst my people, and you let them know that their sufferings are soon to be over. So I just want to help everyone to understand today that even though we are going through trying times, even though we have been in places where we felt like God, have you left me, or Lord, have you forsaken me? Understand that it was necessary, everything that we had to go through, because in order to be able to get to where God is taking us today, we had to go through the sufferings. We had to be broken. We had to cry out to God. We had to be left alone. Those people and those friends, those family members, they had to have walking away from us. We had to be into a dark place where we didn't have nobody but God. We had to go without, so that when God blessed us, we would be be able to appreciate the blessings that he's sending our way. And like I said, understand that the sufferings is not bad in God. When you suffer, understand that the Bible said those who reign with God shall also suffer with him. So understand that even in the midst of your suffering, what is in you is being birthed out. For so long, I never understood up until now. I'm like, God, but I'm going through so much. Like, Lord, I know that you have the power to just bring me out. I know that you have the power to make this test and trial that I'm going through cease, God. And I'm not understanding, like, well, Lord God, why are you allowing me to continue to go through? But I didn't understand it even in the midst of me going through, even in my darkest hour, even when I was still walking along in that darkest valley, even when people began to walk away from me, God was still there, even in the midst of that valley. And because of that sufferings, God is saying today that I'm going to make all things new. It's going to be a new beginning. And I thank God, because even though I couldn't understand at the particular time the reason why I was going through so much, and he started was saying, but it's necessary. I had to allow people to walk away from you because it was necessary. You had to be broken again because it was necessary. You had to go without and understand because it was necessary. I had to allow people to break your heart over and over again because it was necessary. So today I'm letting you know that even though your heart has been broken, even though you may not have everything that you desire or you may want, but understand that God has blessed us with what we need. And in due time, God is saying, even in this hour, that even in due time, he's going to bless us with the desires of our hearts. But we have to understand that we must stay consecrated before him, and we must continue to cry out to him, and we must continue to be obedient to him. So understand that our sufferings are not in vain. God literally has a bottle, and he's bottling up our tears. All our tears that we have cried, God is bottling those tears up. So know that even though we're suffering and we're going through, it's all finna be rewarded back to us double. Because the things that we have also sowed, we're going to also reap. So we have to get into a position now to receive the blessings of God and be in expectation right now to understand that God is going to get ready to turn things around for his people. And understand that, yeah, we may be broken in this hour and we may be going through in this hour, but even though we're going through in this hour, God is still saying, I'm turning things around for your good. See, what the devil meant for our bad, God is turning it around for our good on today. He wanted to keep us in a place of being stuck. He wanted to keep us in a place of being in this darkness. But how many know that as of today, God is saying, I'm going to do a new thing in your life. No longer will you have to continue to struggle and beg. No longer will you have to continue to stay up at night crying, not understanding the knowing where a way is going to be made. But God is saying today that he's going to turn things around in our favor today. He's going to even sprinkle clean water upon our heads today. And I thank God, because one thing about God, he is not like man. Man may have forsaken us many a times, but God is still there. Man may have broken us and tried to hurt us many a times, but how many know that God is still there? And if God is still there, it doesn't matter what people do and what people say, because if God be for you, he is more than the world against you today. So understand that even if you're broken in your spirit, God is getting ready to do a new thing. God is getting ready to do a new thing before his people, and no longer will brokenness be our portion, but love and joy will be our portion today. And I thank God for it. The suffering was not in vain, but God said he had to use the foolish things to confound the wise. So as of today, I thank God, because one thing about it, he's going to bring an increase. See, the thing is, we suffer. But how many know when you're suffering, and in the midst of your suffering, if you'll cry out to God, if you'll go before God and allow God to know, like, Lord, I need you. And how many know that even in the midst of those tests and those trials, stop saying, God, bring me out. But how many know when I begin to change up my prayer, when I begin to say, God, I can't make it alone, when I begin to say, God, but I need your help, when I begin to cry out to God and say, but God, I can't do it by myself, when I begin to cry out to God and say, well, Lord, I'm lonely and I don't have no help, I don't have nobody. How many know God was still standing there saying, but I have never never left you nor forsaken you? How many know that God was still standing there saying, but I still have need of you? How many know that God was still standing there saying, but I still love you? So if I still love you and I'm still there for you, it doesn't matter what man has done to you. It doesn't matter how many times they have broke you. It doesn't matter how many times they have left you. It doesn't matter how many times they have forsaken you. If God is still